Hi there, welcome to the Lad Mix Farm channel. It's Arthur here. As usual, we are bringing you an update about chili farming at Lad Mix Farm. These are some of the high-value crops that we are doing on this farm. However, we have a number of challenges that we encounter, and it's very important that we share these experiences as we handle them, but also to give you an idea of what we go through just in case you get interested. First and foremost, as you can see behind me, we have a chili garden, but it is having lots of gaps. This is one of the challenges we had as a result of prolonged sunshine. Because of climate change, there is a lot of rain that comes at the beginning of the season. Then after 3 weeks, it tends to stop. And this time around, when it stops, it took us quite a long time before it could actually start raining again. It actually took the whole of May without rain. And remember, we had done the transplanting of the young chili seedlings, and so they were greatly suffocated by the intense heat and thereby drying some of the seedlings, and we didn't have extra to do the gap filling. So that's one of the major challenges that we've been able to go through. But also, as we continue doing this farming, you realize that even those that are there because of some of these prolonged sunshine, remember we are in the rainy season, but still even within the rainy season we have periods where it can shine for 3 weeks, 4 weeks non-stop without rain. That one also affects our production, particularly looking at the quality of the chili, looking at the size of the chili. Sometimes it's not as it would have been if there was, this constant rain that we anticipate, especially for those of us that are dependent on rain. So that's another challenge that we are facing on this farm. Then we have pests and diseases. That's another challenge that we really encounter here. And you find that it is a menace. You find these pests making some small holes on some of these chili fruits, and you find it's becoming quite a challenge to manage. But the only solution is to put the fruit fly traps, and we also put in some of these insect stickers which can capture some of these insects when they move about trying to go and create havoc on some of these chilies. So we have these stickers that you'll be able to see in the background. This is how we go about to try and reduce on that challenge that is a problem on this particular farm. Then we have fungal infections. Sometimes because of the heavy rains, when they return, it rains cats and dogs. So you'll find that also prevalences of fungal diseases tend to increase. So we have specific fungicides that we apply in these gardens to try and manage the fungal infections and treat it. Otherwise, we want to make sure that by the time we are taking this crop to the market, it is of the required standard, the required health. So looking at the plant itself, those are some of the challenges we face. The prolonged dry spells which affect the seeds, the fruit itself, and then of course also creating these gaps. Pests that really bore holes on these chilies, it's a big menace, and then the fungal infections. But away from the plant itself, the heavy rains are a challenge to us as farmers, especially during the harvesting periods. You'll find that you've gotten an order. For instance, if you get an order that you're supposed to deliver on Wednesday evening so that it arrives on Thursday morning, that means you have to choose to harvest on Wednesday morning, to spend that whole day so that you can pick a fresh harvest that you're going to take when it is in its really good vigor and looking very beautiful. But remember, you'll sleep and sometimes you'll wake up and you find it has started raining. And when it starts raining, it can even start from around 5:30 or 6 in the morning, the time when we're actually supposed to be coming to the field, and then to rain all the way up to maybe around 10, even up to 11. And remember, you've tried to mobilize the communities to come and harvest, and it becomes a challenge for some of these community members. First of all, more or less the day is half spent, and some of them lose the morale to come and pick because they don't see how they are going to benefit from the few hours that are left. So that one sets us back and sometimes giving us a challenge of meeting the quotas or the targets or the orders that we've received. And sometimes you find it's not good on the part of the farmer to not meet the target that is requested, because then they are not sure that next time you'll be able to meet it. Then it might cause them to try and find other members that can be able to give them that chili. But you find that is a general challenge around the places, especially when you're dependent on the rains. So that's one of the challenges that we are facing. Then prolonged harvesting days. Now as we try to mitigate that, we tend to say that, okay, if they want the harvest, say Thursday in the morning to arrive at their pack house, we say that let's start harvesting Tuesday morning, the whole of Tuesday we harvest, just in case it rains on Wednesday, the actual day of harvest. Then if we don't meet our quotas, we go ahead and also harvest on Wednesday, the whole day, after discussing, of course, with the buyers. And therefore it gives us 2 days of harvesting There you're sure that you've met the targets that you need in terms of the kilograms. And remember, this is labor intensive. You really need many people to be able to pick and get these volumes. So once we do that, then we're able to send, for instance, on Thursday morning, having picked on Tuesday the whole day and the whole of Wednesday. And then you receive another order that is telling you that you have to deliver on Saturday morning. Meaning, again, you have to mobilize people, the community, to come and harvest the whole of Thursday and the whole of Friday to meet that quota that you need to give to the second order from another exporting company that needs this chili. Now, what happens, you realize that you use the whole of Tuesday and Wednesday harvesting, then you're also using Thursday and Friday, and remember, you're dependent on the community to come and help you do the harvesting. And this creates a lot of fatigue among the community members, because remember, they are also having their own competing priorities at home to weed their gardens and so forth. And so once you don't organize yourself very well, then you're going to find yourself at some point when you're alone in the garden. And some of the challenges we face are those. We end up relying on our very workers only, much as they are limited in number. Remember, when you have to meet the quota or the target, you need, let's say, 40, 50 people to come once and start picking, so you're able to share and transport the produce in the right volumes as required. So that's other challenge that is bothering us. Then, of course, the conflicting harvesting, period versus the few pickers. Remember, currently, for instance, I'll give an example that much as we need people or the community to come and help us to harvest, we also have at the same time the other general crops in the community, say groundnuts, maize, soya, beans, and so forth, that are ready for harvest. So you'd want people to come and help you do the harvesting in your farm, but at the same time, these very people that you rely on, who are actually willing to come and harvest, are actually preoccupied with harvesting their own crops, the maize, the beans, and remember, they have to go through the process of drying it before they can store it. So it means your harvesting cycle is conflicting with the harvesting season of the other general crops. It's important as we plan to look into that. Unfortunately, the only solution is to make sure that one has the right number of workers, maybe that are full-time, that are on call, that you can be able to either source from outside the community or have them as full-time workers for a specific period of time in order not to miss out. There is no way you can say you're not going to harvest, because remember, this is chili that is picked every after 2 weeks. Once you miss out, then it starts ripening. When it starts ripening, some of these buying companies don't want the red chili, they only want the fresh green chili. So it becomes a challenge and you can end up missing the particular market. Then the other challenge I would say is high crop damage. Remember, chili being a high value crop, it is soft, it's a fruit, green and fresh. So in the process of picking, you have to pick it in such a way that you don't damage the crop. When you're picking the chili, you have to make sure that the stalk remains on. That helps the fruit last longer on the shelf or in the refrigerators and so forth, where the consumer is going to have it from. Now, in that process, some of this stalk, when they're harvesting, they break off. When you put in the bag or in the boxes, and in the process of transportation, there's a lot of damage that also takes place. You find sometimes due to handling, which you can't avoid, because sometimes when they are putting in particular means of transport, like for us here, we don't have yet a special vehicle that picks from the farm straight to the market because of the distances and the challenges, looking at the economics of it, being able to fuel a vehicle 400 kilometers to the city. We sometimes often use public means, where we talk to the bus companies and other courier services to be able to transport it. But as they transport, they are not as keen and careful as you, the farmer, when you are transporting this crop. So that one creates a lot of damage, and that's why sometimes when we pick, actually the norm is you'll pack it, say if you have picked 600 kilograms, and you'll send it with the invoice. But still, once they reach there in the pack house, they are going to take it through the sorting process, remove those that have blemishes and all those that are damaged. So in the end, instead of say 600 kilograms, you might end up having 450, 500 or 550, depending on the level of damage that has been caused during the process of transportation. So these are some of the challenges that we really grapple with as we encounter our chili farming venture. Still, it's highly lucrative. The yields are so immense. Remember, you're harvesting every 2 weeks and the volumes are good. You can still get your profits, but you can actually do better if you manage some of these challenges and find ways of mitigating them. This is what we had for you here. as an update. Watch out for more clips as we take you through the other aspects of chili farming. Thank you very much.